Sometimes people don't realize, and the person that you buy your hot dog, you buy your newspaper, has a whole life behind his business.
Traditionally, it was the immigrant coming over and looking to make a buck here in the United States, which is what the United States is about. And this has always been, since the early 1900s, probably before and now, it still is a good way for somebody who has limited use of the language, limited knowledge of the workings of the United States to make a buck and be independent. And that's who the typical vendor would be.
My name is Mohammed Sheikh. I am from Bangladesh. I came from 1995 here.
Everybody's nice people in New York City. So this is a very good hot dog. And it's, I don't see it before New York City. This is the same hot dog. It's the very best quality and this very tastes good. You know, a lot of people like it. Some people like it to go. Right. Then I put in the wrap it up, but they're gonna to go. There's a lot of hot dog, 10, 12, 15, 20, I don't know, whatever. Some people like it 50 hot dogs, so give me 50 hot dogs to go.
The cab driver, he liked to come here because it's hard. It's hard to stop anywhere to take whatever his order. Because when he leaves his car and you go to whatever restaurant, you get to buy his food, you can get a ticket for $50. So it's not fair for him. So that's why he come here, because we know him, we know his order, and just a few minutes we take his order and he goes. That's why he likes coming here. We make good stuff for people. We take care of him. We give him good price, and we make him quick. That's why he loves to come here.
When the mosque was over there, all the brothers used to come over after Jum'ah, and we would line up here and get some chicken, sandwiches, because we had to go. I had to go to work. The other guys had to go to cab, driving cab. And then so I left. I went back to Milwaukee. I came back maybe about 6 months, a year later. And we got all the suits here and everybody from the offices, and they're all lined up around the corner there, buying chicken sandwiches, So it's been quite, I guess the guys, he's made it okay. He's talking about getting out of the business,
It's Wall Street, and I work with the people from the stock market. Well, I started here in 1977. And my father-in-law was here before, for about 10 years ago. Then was not too many cars around here. Through the years, we developed all this culture of food vending. And we create this industry. And now the mayor wants to kick us out of the street and to take from us something ready, which we create, just to make happy some other people. And we don't have nothing to do. Only this kind of business we know. And we're not good. Everybody can say that. Yeah, now what you want the pita?
When we came to America, we think it's be big and a great dream, but after we came, we found it's big difference. We found we lose. You know, like one day like that, is it be bad day? Nobody go outside the office. We stay, we wait for little dollars, not too much. I feel I make a great mistake in my life to leave my educate and I start with this business.
I don't know how people feel being very powerful and don't care about certain minorities or certain people that need to grow. And most of the people that are vending, I'm telling you, they're very hard workers. Sometimes they're behind rain, they out there with very cold days. Nobody wants to be out every day of their life. I mean, staying in the sidewalk. But most of the people, they standing up for hours and hours and hours, and they wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning, they get home at 10 o'clock at night, they just eat and sleep, they just eat and sleep, that's it. So you gotta give them some credit, I think, some respect for them. And I'm telling you because I feel myself part of the society that I don't have to be behind a pushka right now. But I never forget it at all.
A lot of vendors come from Egypt, but we're not vendor in Egypt. We're not vendor in Egypt. If you ask me, I'm a general lawyer. He's accountant. Other people is between doctors, engineering. We have college degree. If we don't have it, we don't have American visa, right? You have to have your college degree to come to this country. If you don't, they refuse you. I'm one of them. I'm a general lawyer in Egypt. I work with international law, with the civil court, criminal court, family court. I work with all that. And my luck here, I'm food vendor. We try to make honest living. I forgot about what I am over there, but at least I don't look for nobody to help me. I help my own family, I help myself.
Okay, I'm Jack Havardakis. I'm age 30, and I'm from Astoria, Queens, New York City, New York. Well, my father actually had the spot before him. He passed away, and that's when I took over the business. I was originally a car mechanic, so I found the spot all set up for me, which was pretty good. I'm not going to complain. I'd rather have my father alive, but what are you going to do?
My mother, she sold Mexican food, so I like this, and I decide to sell hot dogs in the street. I like it. I like my job.
I just came here and just started on my own. I burned the food pretty much my first day out here, but after a while I got the hang of things. Well, normally I get up about 4:30 in the morning. I'm down here about 5:30. Cut all the lettuce, tomatoes, the barbecue sauces, sodas, and all the other mediocre stuff that go along. I'm out here about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. I get out of here about 4:30, 5. So by the time I get home, it's like 7. So you got to put a lot of hours. I'll say good maybe 12, 13 hours.
Treat everybody like it's my family. They know me. Everybody know me over here. Ooh, ooh. Cut that. That was cheese.
Well, I remember Kathy Leah Regis. I was in a show of Regis. He picked me up from this place. He picked up 5 people on the street. I was one of them. Mother and underwears on the show. I was live on TV. I met Diana Sawyer on the show. I met David Costa and the actors on the show. Also, I was in David Letterman for 5 times, part of his show. He didn't take me just to put me there. I was part of his show. One time he stick the top 10 list on my hot dog water, and he picked it up. Not this one, of course, because I changed it since 3 years ago.
I almost know everybody. If not by name, but...
Anytime I pass here, and if I don't know what to have for lunch, and I don't feel like cooking, I come here. I get either 1 knish, 2 hot dogs, or just hot dogs, because I'm in a hot dog. And I always get a seat. He's always some kind of it. He's a very kind man.
Little baby, little son. He like this, like you know. He follow me everywhere. He see me, he had to eat in this. But I don't want to eat this every day because I don't want to get fat. Yeah. I want to sell it, but sometimes the children, a little fat, I say, listen, that's not good for you.
My son is 16. My daughter is 8. She's asthmatic. She's admitted 11 times. I gotta run sometimes from here, home. But now she's getting a little better.
Picture of the family. I don't got all my kids there. Let me see. Well, it's a bad picture anyway. There's one of my daughters here, and my son. I have 2 daughters and a son. Yeah, that's one. I don't have another picture of my daughter there. That's my son there on the other side there.
I met my wife in same business. She's accounting in 6th Avenue. And I met her like customer. After we know each other, we decided to marry. And we have 2 daughters. This like 8 years ago.
Yeah, I pretty much met all my girlfriends doing this. That's another reason why I don't want to leave here. It's very helpful in that category.
I came last month from vacation in my country. I came back, look like, oh my goodness, look like my family. Believe me, it's not normal, just people I see, but it's people here, thank God, we have good relationship, feel good, I can't explain more than for that. For you miss your people. That's what I mean. When somebody he hugged me, it's something good for you, you feel good because somebody miss you.
Stuff like politicians, they come over here, actors, big names.
Tyson came and ate for me. Diana Warwick, she was here, eating for me right in this place. A lot of the famous people. The show of Channel 41, her name Suzanne, the Spanish show, she came and ate a hot dog from here. Every single people eating a hot dog from this place. And also include Mayor Giuliani before he became a mayor.
It's getting rough every day vending. It's not easy. You got to deal with the people, which is great, some, and then we got to deal with the mayor of New York City, and he is the worst for vendors. He just doesn't like the little guy. He likes the big restaurants. He wants to put every vendor out of business.
You're supposed to help anyone. He likes his job. You're supposed to help him, to watch him, to make him good person.
Δρόμο δεν μπορούν να κάνουν τα έξοδα μου.
Nick came in America for a better life, for the land of opportunity. He came, he raised his family here. He has 2 kids and a wife. And he wishes to go back to his spot. That way he can continue making his living, because in the location that he is in right now, he's not doing so well as he was doing before.
And I'm married from an American girl, and we live together. And I live normal life. Look like anyone. Ask anyone how he can live. And you come to stop him from his job. How he feels this time. That's what I feel now, and what I feel about my people. A lot of people stop this job, you know, because there's so many streets closed.
Before we used to be over there. Where is the orange cube? Right there, 140 Broadway. 11 cars or 9 cars there. So they said one day, oh, can you move? We're gonna fix the floor. In the next 2 months, they put flowers. We try to go back, and they call the police. They call lawyers. They're big people, you know, so they win. We don't have nobody. We call the news and everything, nobody help. But people help them, but nobody help us. So they bring like 6 lawyers and a lot of police, and they kick us out.
When you are someplace for 20 years, 25 years, and somebody tells you, know, you are out of business, I don't know if it's hard time or it's killing.
Now Mayor, which is, we have to face it, he's been doing a very good job in so many areas. I mean, he's a very revolutionary personality. But also, he became very close to the powerful people in New York City. Let's call big corporation, real estate. And he's starting to forget certain things that are the taste of New York, like vending, like small places, like lower level of income.
I think he just sits there all day in his office trying to figure out how can I screw so many people up that would piss every New Yorker off. That's what it comes down to, you know?
And vending in many places became completely restricted. And I think at that point he failed. He failed with the minorities, he failed with things that he makes out of New York, the beautiful city it is. We're talking about Seattle, we're talking about Chicago, then you can see cities need. And I remember going to Toronto, everything closing at 5 o'clock, no people on the street, and that's not what I want. That's why I'm here in New York. I want to walk on the street, I want to see people, I want to see everything.
The entire Giuliani administration is characterized by suppression of information on a very massive scale. I've had numerous reporters come to me and tell me that they'd been threatened by the police, told if they ever do another story on me, they would have no access to the police department. Many reporters have told me that after they called City Hall to get a comment about me for a story, the mayor called up their boss at the news station and would try to have them fired as a way to suppress the story.
If he sees this on TV, he's going to say, get that vendor. I know he will. Get that vendor. But you know what? I've been doing it 23 years. You want to get me? Get me. I don't care. I'm tired. I'm up to here with this bullshit that you're coming out with. I'm tired of it.
Robert Letterman came to me about 10 months ago and wanted to paint pictures of Giuliani as Hitler or in other very black forms of humor. Paint him as a ghoul or Mussolini or other people that we, ascribe to fascist or dictatorship things in history. And I fought with him tremendously at first, and almost to the extent of telling him that if that was something he felt strongly about, that I didn't feel that this was a case that I could handle, because I didn't feel that that was a fair analogy. But there came a point where I did start to think maybe it was not a fair analogy, because we can't equate what happened in Nazi and fascist Germany to what this mayor is doing, but there was a similarity of thought that the rights of a few should consistently trample on the personal and constitutional freedoms of many, those many being disenfranchised. And since he's come out with these most recent portraits, he's found tremendous support in the artistic community and in the black community, in the Latino community, and in the immigrant vendor, hot dog vendor community.
Well, for 200 years, vending in this city was basically first come, first served. You put together what you're going to sell, some kind of display, and you go out and do it. It didn't take any capital. You didn't have to know anybody. If you had a crappy product, nobody would buy it. If you had something good, you could make some money.
And again, with the hot dog vendors, you're looking at people that are not second and third generation Americans, or even second and third generation Europeans at this point. You're looking at the most recent wave of immigrants, which tend to be Middle Eastern or Indian or Pakistani, and what they're doing to try to make their way in this city, in this country, is no different than what our immigrant grandparents or great-grandparents did.
Big Apple is a company that at one time owned 500 food vending permits. And then the city council, in my opinion, in one of the few good decisions they've ever made in my lifetime, and I'm not exaggerating there, decided to take away multiple permits. One vendor, one permit. Big Apple sued to get their permits back, and I can understand why they would want them back. If I was in their place, I might try to get them back as well. But in doing so, they've continued to create problems for other vendors, which now they're supporting something called the warrant system. Not so much because they want a warrant system, because it's a trade-off. They've given a lot of money to certain city council people as well as to the mayor, and they've agreed to endorse this warrant system, which is going to result in the total elimination of all of the immigrant vendors that are in the city today, and the replacement of them with corporations.
In New York City, it's so easy to believe certain things about certain people. I'm Italian-American. I own 500 food vending permits from companies that I bought with permission from the city. And one of my companies was named Mulberry Street. If you come from New York City and you say Italian Mulberry Street, you're talking about organized crime. It's that simple. The mayor of New York City is a former prosecutor. His biggest thing was bringing down the mob. If the mayor, a former prosecutor, points his finger at you and says, organized crime, you're dead. It's that simple. It's that simple. So if I was a different person, they could never have done it. But because I fit the profile, it's easy. It really is easy. A lot of the council members, when I went in to talk to them, no way would they even sit down with me. They actually thought they were sitting down with a gangster. One guy actually vibrated off his chair. I thought he was going to have a heart attack. That's the kind, I swear to God. I said, what's the matter with you? I thought he was sick.
But ultimately, even Big Apple will be eliminated by McDonald's, Burger King, Disney, and the other giant corporations that have expressed an interest in getting into the vending game. So in my opinion, they have really a very short-sighted viewpoint about what they're doing, even in terms of helping themselves, let alone supposedly helping other vendors, which I don't personally think they're doing in any way, shape, or form.
What I'd like to see is that we limit the amount of permits there are on the streets. We cap it at 4,000, and by attrition, bring it down to 3,000. And what we'd like to do is to see that the multiple permits be given into hands of companies who either manufacture the item in the city of New York or an exclusive distributor of a particular item, like a Chipwich, a McDonald's, and a pretzel company, an ISIS company, whatever it may be. And to limit that cap, put that cap, multiple cap at 50 permits per person, so it gives opportunity for companies. The reason for it, I think, is that if you get companies responsible for their permits, you'll have a cleaner cart, you'll have more accountability, and you won't have to deal with a single individual. You can go out to the company and say, listen, if you don't fix up your act in this particular street corner, we will take away all your permits. So there'll be an incentive for a reason for you to operate to be a good partner and to be a good neighbor and to operate your cart in a clean way and something that's giving some value to the people.
Who do you think is going to be on 42nd Street? You don't think Disney's got push carts in Disneyland? Who do you think is going to be on 34th Street in Bryant Park? McDonald's already tried to get in there.
We created a vendor review panel, which is supposed to establish which streets you're allowed to vend or which you're not supposed to vend. And I think it's been unfair because of the system, how it operates. It's controlled by the administration. I am one member, but I'm only one vote, and I think they've gone a little too far.
My first license was issued when I was 16 years old. I have been working here 14 years, and my spot was closed down February 13th by the Vendors Review Panel and by the request of Fulton Mall Association.
Okay, what you see on the map here in red are all streets that have been restricted to food vending. This is mainly due from the Street Vendor Review Panel. And what you see in green are petitions for streets to be closed at the next hearing. In the last closing of 100 streets, they moved about 300 vendors. They only moved to the next closest available street. So now where there was 2 vendors, there's 4. No one's making a living, but it looks like a mess.
Right now I'm doing nothing. Right now they close my spot, and I feel very bad if I go to a street that another vendor is. I feel very bad to go next to him and tell him, I lost my spot and I have to take your business away.
We working so hard. We start from 8 o'clock in the morning to finish. We go home almost 11 o'clock at night. I think it's a matter if he work all these hours in his office, not in the street like us. I think this is too much. He can't stand like me like that, you know. And if he tried to work my job, he think I make a lot of money. You come to check my money, how much I make it. And for what? For what to close the street? A lot of people, he got a family, he got so many things he gotta do.
I was asked by the police department to move from my location and not to rent here anymore, and I refused. I was working legally like every other vendor. They have issued me in the past 3.5 months 144 tickets. And after they have arrested me, when they brought this flower pot here, they have arrested me for damaging the flower pot that is a property of Fulton Mall.
Oh yes, I had a New York City police officer. I have nothing against the police. The police, they're just following orders, you know. And it's garbage, some of the stuff that they came up with. But they just wrote me a ticket. I've gotten tickets, hundreds of tickets through the years. But I got a ticket for selling soda without a 5-cent refund sign. You know, I had to have a 5-cent refund sign that so people can see that they can get 5 cents back. I told the officer, well, getting windy here. I told the officer all my cans have 5 cents on them. I bought them from New York State, not from Jersey. If he found 1 can on my wagon, he can write me 10 tickets instead of 1.
Now it's the health department. They give you some dumb tickets, like garbage on the floor, if you don't have enough water. I mean, I can understand if they give you, and the fines are like $100 and up for little dummy violations. I can understand if it was like the food's not at the right temperature, the wagon's dirty, but they give you some dumb tickets which they really shouldn't be giving you.
I have a summer the other day because I don't have a hat. I forgot my hat. I always have a hat in a net. That day I forgot to put it. It was so hot. They give me $300 summer.
But it's another way of Giuliani getting rid of the vendors because he came out with a law that if you have 4 tickets, that they have the right to take away your wagon, take away your permit, and then you got to reapply again. And it's like a lotto system. It could take anywhere from a couple of years to like 20, 30 years before they give you a permit again. So he wants to put the little guy out of business permanently.
Well, for starters, they gave me a ticket for garbage on the floor during my lunch hour, which I can't see how I'm going to serve my customers and be cleaning up the floor and serving food at the same time, which in itself is a violation. And they also gave me a ticket for not having my thermometer. That one I could understand. That was my fault. That was a dummy ticket. I deserved that one. But the one with the garbage, they shouldn't have really gave me that ticket.
If you example, you go now down Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, from the 60s all the way down to the 20s, you can't find that one cart because it is a vendor-free avenue and it's restricted street. That's ridiculous. People, tourists, People want to have a hot dog, want to get something to eat, why not have it? So I think we have to look and re-examine the entire streets that have been restricted, what streets you can vend, and see which streets we can open up. Yet there are streets that doesn't make sense to open up because of the congestion and because of multiple people that are walking there, and it's just impossible. The pedestrian traffic is making it impossible to have carts out there.
After issuing me so many tickets, after arresting me, and I always was going back to court, and the court said that I am legally working on this corner, they came down with a proposal and a request to the vendors review panel, and they closed down the street from this end of the block to the end of the block. Only this particular street they closed down, and they do not allow me to vend on my street anymore. And they are saying that the street is very congested. And my question is, if it's such congested, how come they moving me and they are replacing me with the same size flower pot, the same size of my car?
I think there are certain issues in terms of places that are inappropriate for vending. For example, on a narrow sidewalk next to a subway entrance in a very congested area, that would make it almost a safety issue, really, for a vendor to be on a sidewalk and yet have access for the public in terms of walking and moving around. There are also issues of competition between vendors and existing operations that pay rent inside buildings. And so there need to be some balance. I'm not saying that there are no room for vendors and that we do not want vendors. It's not the case. But I think we need to have a system that allows for both the vendor and people who operate retail establishments of a similar nature. So given those issues, safety, congestion, and also knowing about the business climate in an area, I think there has to be a balance between all of that, and that's what we're trying to achieve.
Basically what the business improvement districts are is a response to the failure of city government to deliver essential services which it's the job of the city government to deliver, such as sanitation, police, various kind of security things, and so on, because of corruption, inefficiency, stupidity on the parts of elected officials.
Well, this is the Metrotech Commons, the city's newest urban park. It's a 3.5-acre area that was created out of a street bed, actually. And it's a wonderful open space. During the summertime, we have great outdoor concerts. People come out here and have lunch and enjoy themselves. You see them playing chess. College students come out, enjoy themselves. It's a wonderful new area that's really transformed downtown Brooklyn. And the bid actually maintains this area and also provides the security coverage so that it's safe and it's an active place, something that people can really enjoy.
The issue that's a problem in this business improvement district universe is that we have an elected government, democratically elected, that follows a constitution. Business improvement districts are not actually elected. They don't follow the United States Constitution, or in this case, the New York State Constitution. They basically make up their own rules. They don't have to follow the First Amendment. They don't have to follow civil rights. And as a result, they commit a lot of very serious violations of the things that make America special, and certainly in a city like New York, the most liberal city in the country.
We do appreciate the good work that Metrotech tries to do in the area. We have spent some good amount of time with Mr. Mike Weiss, and he's been very helpful to us, and he's been in very good cooperation, and he's trying to help the vendors. He's not an anti-vendor, as we found out, and we appreciate his good work. And I hope that I can say the same thing about many other associations, like Fulton Mall or all the other bits that trying to control the vendors on each area.
The bids are trying to pass a new vending ordinance now, and the city council has hearings about it, which presumably vendors would want to come and testify at. And there's a legal requirement that they have to post a public notice about the meeting. Well, The place that they post it is a newspaper that's not sold on any newsstand and that costs over $400 a year to subscribe to, called the City Record. So the whole point of posting the public notice in such a newspaper is to bury it as completely as possible.
And the law and the rule is, you know, if it's a vendor, get him. What they going to do?
I have my papers. I can work anywhere that I want. But when you show the papers for them, he say, oh, you got to go to court and fight. How am I going to go to court? How am I going to pay a lawyer for this? I'm paying already.
Το μόνο το οποίο θέλω είναι να με πάρουν, ξέρω ότι θέλουν να με βοηθήσουν, αλλά να με βοηθήσουν στην πραγματικότητα να πάω πίσω.
Mr. Nick says that Metrodec has been helpful to him, but he wants truly to find a way. He wants the mayor and everybody who is in charge to find truly a way and help the poor people on the street, and also help him to go back to his location.
You know, to someone who's not here, you know, hot dog vending seems like, well, who cares? You know, that's the initial reaction. Well, who cares if Robert Letterman can sell his original art in the street? Or who cares if Ahmed can sell hot dogs and pretzels in the street? Well, we should all care a lot. We should all care because an attack on them and restrictions on them mean that eventually there could be restrictions on other things that we take for granted.
Because in your salute, or American salute, when you salute in the flag, you say justice for all on the end. You don't say justice only for the rich people. Justice for all when you salute the flag. So justice for me, Mayor Giuliani, because my vote, when you're gonna run for the Senate, it's gonna count like Hillary Clinton votes, like Donald Trump vote, because my votes count as one, and Donald Trump count as one. It's not gonna count as two. So my vote is gonna make a difference for you, Mayor Giuliani. Maybe you need one vote to become a Senate. Maybe my vote is gonna save you. But unfortunately, I'm not gonna give it to you, Mayor Giuliani.
I wish, Mr. Giuliani, just I wanna say something to him. Forget it, vendor people. These people, he need life. He not steal, you know. These people, he don't wanna be millionaire. Like these people is not thief. No, this is good very people. You can come to talk with us. Believe me, if you come look like I give to you some drink, I gotta give to him something to drink. He don't know me, but I know him.
The answer, first of all, they have nothing to do with us. Streets belong to the citizens, not to the city. So they're supposed to leave citizens to give a solution to this problem, if there is any problem.
I'm a crybaby, you know, I cry for everything because this is my living. I don't know what I'm gonna do next.
This is the street belongs to the city. It doesn't belong to us. It doesn't belong to you, Mayor Giuliani. Just leave the people to make the choice. Don't make it the choice by yourself, Mayor Giuliani, or by the high quality people. Because the high quality people eat them from us too.
In New York, believe me, with the same look like what I love in my country. It's the same. If I go to visit my brother in Philadelphia, look like I lose something. I come back, run to New York. Because I love New York. I'm New Yorker. You can see what I have here.
Oh, I love this. I love being in the street.
You have to show the people you feel good. Because somebody say, give me one order in my face looking, oh, a mean face, that's not good. You have to be happy, no?
To deal with a customer is too hard, you know? Because every day is be different stuff. Today need something, tomorrow no, I don't want it, right? I don't like eat this today. Give me something different. For that, it's be hard way to deal with a customer. But I like them, they like me, you know. When I'm be vacation 3 months, they looking for me. And they think I'm gone. But when they see me, oh, we don't think you come back. I says, no, I'm here until I'm die. Don't worry.
¿Qué tú quieres, papá?
Pura con
Pan pura?
Yeah, I want
No
hot
sausage. No sausage, no?
Yeah, sausage.
Oh, you say pan pura?
Oh, that's $1.25.
What do you want, man? Ketchup?
Yeah, ketchup.
Some chili?
Yeah.
Some onion?
Yes.
And that's it?
Yeah.
All right, Bobby.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Sit down.
Okay. That's right.
These are the people that make up the fabric of New York. They're the people that make New York what it is. If you asked any person who's lived in New York or has visited New York for some of the sights and sounds and impressions that they take away with them, those are the things that people take with them.